Highly touted four-star quarterback Gavin Wimsatt played very well in limited time in a simulated freshman redshirt season, while Noah Vedral played awfully. With 4.5 sacks, Aaron Lewis Jr. looks to lead our defensive front in this upcoming senior season, while Max Melton leads the secondary into his. Anthony Johnson racked up 39 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 picks in his freshman year, so he could be the leader of this defense for the next 3 years or so. Texas took care of Pitt in a close battle, while Miami won an overtime thriller over Ohio State in the playoff semis. The Miami Hurricanes win the national title over Texas despite every attempt by Quinn Ewers to come back in the game. Rutgers punter Adam Korsak would be selected in the 3rd round of the NFL draft, while we graduated 3 wideouts and both starting safeties. Yikes. We also lost inside linebacker Kyrie Banton, who transferred out due to playing time, but we got Johnson, so it's okay. It's a solid recruiting class, though. A lot of these guys would later be renamed by my Twitch followers. Go check out the Twitch at twitch.tv/FGStreams, link in description, to be a part of the action live. That class was good enough to be ranked 23rd in the nation, and we are on FANG's recruiting overhaul, which gives the advantage in recruiting to the higher prestige schools. So I'd say Rutgers did pretty well for the 3-star program that they are. Our story in season number 1 starts at home against Boston College, where Gavin Wimsatt showed flashes of what we want at quarterback, with a nice one to Rashad Rochelle for a score, and in the 4th quarter, it's a little help from Christian Dremel, who makes a great catch for Gavin's 3rd touchdown of the day, as he takes player of the game honors in an easy 21-3 win over the Eagles. The Scarlet Knights then hosted the Temple Owls next, and early miscue from Temple on a long field goal miss. They would get their 3 to lead later until Gavin Wimsatt scrambles to the right to buy some time to hit Monopoly Man Jones for 6 points. Before halftime, the attempt to extend that lead was way off, and it would be Kyle Monangai with a speedy carry left side into the end zone for a Rutgers touchdown, as later it was Gavin Wimsatt speeding and diving into the end zone to secure a 24-9 victory over the Owls. Hoot hoot! 3rd straight home game, Illini in town, and the screen to Monangai goes all the way to the house for 6 points, followed by this punt return right side by Teddy Snaggs, absolutely untouched like a high school boy's bedroom, for a 2-score lead. Late in the game, it's a 9-point lead for Rutgers, and Perry tosses one incomplete for the turnover, and Wimsatt takes advantage with a nice 18-yard toss to Monopoly Man Jones, as Aaron Lewis anchored the defense with 5 sacks, and the Scarlet Knights go to 3-0 with a 37-21 win over Illinois. In the game against Wisconsin, NIL man Graham Mertz gets an early touchdown, which is later answered by Kyle Monangai from short yardage. Braylon Allen got a short yardage rushing score before half, and then another after halftime before a short TD pass from Mertz to Skylar Bell made it 28-10. Then Rutgers stormed back into the game with Monangai doing his best Allen impression with 2 straight short touchdown runs. Wimsatt had a chance for a lead and put it right on Monangai, but the one time that he messes up, Braylon Allen leads the Wisconsin Badgers to a victory at home over our Scarlet Knights 28-23. The Scarlet Knights would then attempt to bounce back at Purdue, and it looked bad early with a Gavin Wimsatt fumble taken all the way back for 6. But Wimsatt found Christian Dremel for a score, and then Don Munnerlin later on to take a lead. Purdue wasn't going away, as Brock Thompson caught a Michael Alamo touchdown pass, but then Monangai gets in from short yardage and would close the game out with a huge day, over 190 total yards to the Big House at number 2 Michigan, and Rutgers was in for it as J.J. McCarthy ran a muck for the early touchdown before Wimsatt made a horrible throw and was intercepted, leading to him throwing a 17-yard strike to Parker Gauchke for another tutty. Wimsatt over the middle gets help from Joshua Youngblood, strong touchdown score, but with a chance to drive the field and tie, Wimsatt throws pick 6 instead to Jaden McBurrows. J.J. McCarthy then adds this rushing touchdown later to bring his total to 4 on the day, as Michigan gets the win at home in a game that was more dominating than the score would suggest. Hosting number 7 Penn State, Christian Velu was off to a wonderful start, tossing one up, and what a grab by Keandre Lambert-Smith for the Nittany Lion lead. Then later, Valou gets a perfectly timed pitch to Kevon Lee, who takes it in from 23 yards out for 6 more points. A short pass to Caden Saunders makes it 21-0, and then Wimsatt is intercepted by Flowers, which leads to an easy rushing touchdown for Lee as Penn State would hold on to win 41-21. The hellish stretch continues as number 1 Ohio State came to Piscataway on a snowy day. Early on, Wimsatt scrambles and finds a diving Teddy Snaggs for the game's first tutty, and Stroud matched that on the other end with a connection to Julian Fleming. Then it's a Stroud rushing score that gave the Buckeyes a lead, but before halftime, Wimsatt on the screen to Monangai, who does the rest to sneak himself in for the touchdown score. By the fourth quarter, Ohio State got a couple of field goals to lead it, and chasing Wimsatt, they forced the fumble. That huge turnover led to Travion Henderson punching his way to pay dirt. But down 10, Wimsatt sees the huge coverage lapse, and Rashad Rochelle takes advantage of it for a 77-yard catch-and-run touchdown. The Buckeyes on offense, ill-advised pitch by Stroud is right in the hands of Walker, and it's Rutgers' ball again. Wimsatt finds tight end Victor Konopka for a Scarlet Knight lead, but Ohio State would roll down the field, and that pitch to Henderson works for 6 and a new lead for them. Too much time on the clock, though, allows Rutgers downfield for an easy score, and with not much time, it's a Hail Mary from CJ Stroud, intercepted by Sir Panda, who's tackled in the end zone for a safety. Wild ending, but it's all over. Gavin Wimsatt gets player of the game honors in a 38-36 upset victory over the top team in the nation. Rutgers climbed into the rankings then at number 21 and went on the road to Indiana for another snow battle. That started with the trading of a couple of short yardage touchdown runs before Wimsatt threw an interception to Brylan Lanier that got housed for 6 points. What a play and what a return. Back to trading short scores as revamped Pip Nasty gets in for Rutgers, and Connor Bazelak scores on the read option for Indiana. It could have gotten real bad as this Monangai run was originally ruled a fumble housed all the way for 6 points, but on the review, they got the ball back, and instead the drive would end with a Joshua Youngblood Moss in the corner of the end zone for a tutty. Indiana tied it with 3 points, but Wimsatt with a dime to Victor Konopka gave the Scarlet Knights a lead again. Bazelak was picked off by Max Melton on the next Hoosier drive, but Wimsatt gave it right back to Watley Neely. Jalen Lucas had a brilliant run that should have been a score, but he got the touchdown on the next play anyway, and Wimsatt found Victor Konopka open in the front right corner of the end zone to take a lead. Bazelak would have one more chance, which was properly defended to end the game and protect our top 25 ranking. That Rutgers ranking went up to number 16 as we visited Kyle Field and the number 10 Aggies. No score until the second quarter where Christian Dremel got open on the drag for a Scarlet Knight touchdown. After that, Konopka does his thing again, wide open for an easy touchdown. Rutgers would be up 17 in the third, and A&M had no answer for this Victor Konopka as he scores again, giving the Knights a 24-0 lead. That was when A&M suddenly woke up, and after Max Johnson took it himself, he tosses it quick to Chris Marshall for the 2-point conversion. Johnson later with a bit of a screw it. Chris Marshall is out there somewhere for another TD, and Johnson scrambled left and in for the 2-point conversion. Final 25 seconds, Johnson finds Amari Daniels for the 9-yard score, and for the tie, the 2-point conversion is picked off by Igbinosun. So onside kick time, and it takes a huge hop out of bounds, and Rutgers would hold on 24-22 for the road upset win. The Knights then went into Maryland as the number 12 team in the nation for their third snow game in their last 4. Talia Tagovailoa found Shalik Knotts for the game's first score. Near the end of the half, Evan Simon is in at quarterback for an injured Wimsatt, and he scrambles left side for the tying tutty. In the third, it's Samuel Brown for the injured revamped Pip Nasty with a trip to pay dirt. Tagovailoa goes short to Colby McDonald on 4th and goal, and that's a turnover on downs, so Rutgers would then later add an extra score to run it up to a 28-7 final. At number 11, our Scarlet Knights hosted the rival Michigan State Spartans, and this Gavin Wimsatt strike to Monopoly Man Jones for the diving score made it 10-0. A diving short touchdown from Samuel Brown made it 17. And then this dime piece to Konopka down to the 1-yard line set up Rutgers for this Wimsatt score on the read option. Peyton Thorne would hit Trey Mosley for a 21-yard TD, making his record over Kirk Cousins go to 28 passing TDs. But on the 2-point attempt, Thorne is intercepted by Max Melton, who takes it all the way back for 2 points for Rutgers, and the Scarlet Knights would go on to win it 40-13 behind Samuel Brown's huge day in relief of revamp. With that, Rutgers finished their season at 9-3, and we were ranked 10th heading into conference title week. The only lost games to ranked opponents, as Wisconsin, Michigan, and Penn State were all ranked in the top 15 by year's end. The Scarlet Knights finished 4th in the East Division of the Big Ten and would not be in the title game. Instead, it would be Wisconsin versus Michigan, with the Badgers winning that 38-35, ruining the Wolverines' playoff hopes. Running back Travion Henderson won the Heisman Trophy by a slim margin over Braylon Allen, and Rutgers would get a bid to the Music City Bowl against Arkansas. Rutgers was proud to have left end Aaron Lewis Jr., middle linebacker Tareem Powell, and return man Teddy Snaggs as first-team All-Americans. Snaggs, along with D-tackle Big Bubba Cush, also made the all-freshman team. All-Big Ten team would include Lewis Jr., Powell, include right outside linebacker Moses Walker, corner Ryan Longerbeam, strong safety Shaquan Loyal, and of course Snaggs. Right end Wesley Bailey, cornerback Max Melton, free safety Desmond Igbinosun all made the second team in the Big Ten. Aaron Lewis Jr. had a 16-sack season, which was enough to win the Bednarik Award, along with the Nagurski Award and the Lombardi Award. Teddy Snaggs had 1,300 return yards and a touchdown and won the Jet Rogers Award for returning. In the Music City Bowl against Arkansas with amazingly glitchy end zones, KJ Jefferson got the Woo Pig on the board first with his keeper on this read option. Wimsatt made an awful throw, and safety Jaden Johnson takes those cookies all the way back to the cookie jar before Mama finds out. 14-0. Then, pressure looming, Wimsatt actually makes a good throw to an open Joshua Youngblood to avoid a shutout. Raheem Sanders takes a sweep and barely falls in for a score, and he was primed to be a problem for the rest of the game. Before the half, Wimsatt found Rashad Rochelle to keep it a game, and out of the break, he finds Monopoly Man Jones to really get the Scarlet Knights back in it. But Sanders on the sweep was deadly, and he was matched by Pimp Nasty, who was back from injury on the other end, but Sanders would do it again with 1:21 to go, and Arkansas was able to exit with a 38-28 win. BYU took out Penn State 42-35, and Ohio State downed Oklahoma 29-8 in the college football playoff semifinal games. That led to a natty where Ohio State took out BYU 38-21. The Buckeyes, who our Scarlet Knights beat this season, were the champions. Coach Klink did a fine job, and some key losses would include corner Max Melton, who was selected in the 5th round of the NFL Draft, wideouts Christian Dremel and Joshua Youngblood, corner Ryan Longerbeam, and award-dominating defensive end Aaron Lewis Jr. The incoming recruiting class did have one highlight, the number 1 running back in the nation, Garrett Key, who would later be renamed to Cody James. Again, Twitch followers. The class overall was ranked 25th in the nation. Not bad for Rutgers, but we can do better. Next season, another tough schedule is ahead with number 11 BYU and number 1 Ohio State. The natty participants are both on the schedule. Michigan and Penn State are always tough, and we also have a rematch against number 17 Arkansas as we're looking for revenge on the Music City Bowl. How do you think Rutgers performs next season? Let me know in the comments section. Do you think we have a chance to make it to the college football playoff?